Here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. It's Top Talkers time. Why has the city of Ottawa tumbled from the top of the rankings as the best place to live in Canada? Calgary is taking over after a 3-year run at the very pinnacle of nice places to live in this country. Our esteemed panel is here. John, Alison, Rick, good morning.
Good morning.
How are you?
Great.
Good, good. So, why do you think? What happened? Why are we not at the top of the heap anymore?
Well, it's not about hockey teams for sure.
No.
Because otherwise, Alberta wouldn't even be in the picture. I don't know, how the mighty do tumble. You know, a couple of years ago, we could sit here and say we lived in the best city in the best country in the world.
And that's not the case anymore.
Today, we're 6th ranked city in the 11th best country in the world.
Yeah. Now
so
these are just rankings, like
they're
they're
arbitrary.
not. Yeah, they're done every year by a certain
They are done
group.
every year, but they've changed it a little bit this year in the fact that they've added some smaller cities into the ranking as well, which is why you see places like Strathcona County in Alberta and St. Albert now sort of shooting ahead
In the small cities category.
in the small cities category, but they do eke in there to put Ottawa in 6th. But when you look at the big cities category, Ottawa's in 2nd behind Calgary, and they're saying that it's because of the oil and the gas and the boom and the jobs. Everyone's moving to Calgary still.
5 of the top 9 are in Alberta.
Yep.
So that tells you something.
Yeah. It's just a sign of the times, John. You know, this happens from time to time when things start booming in Alberta, right?
Yeah, but you know what? I think it really what it does is equalize things, and it speaks to what Ottawa is famous for, and that's being right in the middle. You know, the golden zone or the Goldilocks zone. We're never too hot. We're never too cold.
Right.
We're just kind of right there in the middle. So we have our high moments, we have our low moments, and it all evens out.
Yeah, Money Sense does this every year, and they do a number of different surveys and different aspects of cities and towns and so on, right?
And it's just a bunch of numbers. And you know what? Max Keeping and I were exchanging some tweets last night, and he pointed out what you were talking about, how, you know, for a number of years we were number 1. But who cares about a bunch of numbers that have been crunched? It's what's in your heart.
Yeah, you know what?
About Ottawa.
We all cared when we were number 1. We had a mayor parading around saying we're the best city in the world.
Yeah.
I
But now
think
that we're
probably
not.
the airwaves of CFRA were filled with that bragging. A little less so today.
But that's
We
the
take
mayor. That's
pride
not
in
us.
that. No,
We're-
but I think we all take pride in
They
it.
still say that Ottawa's got plenty to brag about, though. I mean, a lot to do with the cultural
Absolutely.
feel. The transit system is highly ranked on this scale as well.
The fact that it's not Toronto is always a good
That's
one.
always good.
Toronto
Oh
is
yeah,
number
but everybody
28 on
brags
this
about
list.
that.
Yeah.
It's what we don't have. It's what we don't have. We don't have oil. And that's really what made the single
I
biggest.
suppose you're right.
Yeah.
And light rail would be nice, too.
On rainy days, on really rainy days, we have oil.
I mean, look at your television screens, everybody. Look how beautiful this city is.
There it is.
6th best
Yes.
city in which to live in Canada.
I don't
In the
think
11th
so.
best country in the world.
I
Take a look
don't
at it.
think so. There's a Museum of
But you know what's
Civilization.
really interesting? Take a look at Gatineau. Gatineau went from number 28 on the list last year to number 62. And I was speaking with the Money Sense editor, and he was saying that Quebec itself is kind of stagnant, which is why its numbers have dropped so far down. I mean, number 18 is the highest ranked Quebec city, and that's Boucherville.
Yeah.
So they're saying stagnant economy,
Yeah,
stagnant
a little bit
growth.
unfair, though, because the Gatineau area is probably more tied to the Ottawa economy than it is to the rest of the Quebec economy.
I think
I
you're right.
agree.
Yeah.
It's a little bit surprising.
I think the Money Sense guy went over there and had a bad meal, and that's skewed
or a
it.
bad day at the casino, maybe.
Could be.
Yeah, that could be it.
Could be.
Speaking of money sense and economics and so on, it's budget day here in this country of ours. Maybe that'll shoot our ranking back up. Who knows? But Jim Flaherty has a tough job on his hands today. 5th budget for him, and he's got the new shoes. He's good to go.
Yeah, I'm not sure it'll improve Ottawa's ranking in terms of the public perception. Ottawa never looks good on budget day because it very often means higher taxes. It won't this time.
Right.
It's going to be a stay-the-course budget in that respect. That's the buzzword right now, but we're expecting a few good things. Maybe a little bit of good news on improvement on whittling away that deficit.
John, a lot of people are talking about the military taking a big hit today.
Well, military spending has increased quite a bit. We've been engaged. We were engaged in Afghanistan for a decade, and every economy that has a strong military that's projecting power somewhere in the world eventually has to pull back. So we are going to see that take place.
I'm sure Alison at CFRA will be concentrating on the local impact, and there always is some, not only to citizens of the city, but the city itself, and we'll be examining that.
Of course, and one of the main things the mayor is asking for, of course, is some money for the infrastructure. We all know that that's no secret that he's part of the Big Cities Mayor Caucus, and one of the things they've been asking for is some secure funding to go on past 2014, because as it stands right now, all the federal infrastructure funding really dries up in that year, and that means that bridges, water mains, roads, all that stuff kind of needs money, and that's really what they're looking for.
But also clarity on the public service. A year ago now, they were chopping 19,500 jobs, about a third of those in Ottawa, and now the government is certainly seizing on the whole notion of going after maybe public service benefits,
Yeah, and that
like
was
sick leave and whatnot. So I can tell you the public service is watching this very closely.
Yeah, that was one of the things that Mayor Watson was talking about. He wants to know what's happening with the public service. I mean, these are people here in Ottawa that are so directly affected. And then it turns out that they're the ones who are going to be in the welfare system. If they can't find other jobs, they're the ones who are going to need to be placed. So he wants more clarity, as you mentioned, on what is exactly going to happen.
Yeah, and this, could this be the next wave of downloading? We've certainly seen municipalities getting their fair share of downloading from the province. Maybe the next wave is coming from the federal government, where these positions did provide some local functionality, and now that they're not there, any municipality that benefited from them, if they still want it, they're going to have to figure out a way to fund it themselves.
Should be an interesting day. All eyes on the Capitol today as the budget comes down this afternoon from Jim Flaherty. Full coverage on CFRA, I would guess, and of course on CTV News tonight.